Hello and welcome to Vinsloev Academy. This is Excel Basics in 10 minutes. So I have already copied in some data that we're going to work with. This is data, historical stock data from the company Tesla. So this is data that we're going to work with in this tutorial. So first of all, we're going to see at what we are actually looking at. So actually what we're in now is what is called a worksheet. And a worksheet can be seen right here. So this is arc1, which is the name of this worksheet. So we can change that, for example, to Tesla stock data. If you want a new worksheet, we can click on the plus sign right here and then create a whole new worksheet with new data. And you can create as many of these as you want, more or less. Of course, there's a limit, but there will be enough for you to create. Then all these worksheets is combined in what is called a workbook. And a workbook is the Excel file that you are saving and can reopen again, meaning that you are not going to save each of these worksheets individually, but they will be saved as a combined workbook. What we have up here is the tabs. So this is tabs similar to if you have been working with Word, where you can navigate in between different types of commands that you can execute. And within each tab, there are different groups. For example, there is the one for formatting text, there is the one for numbers, and there is, for example, for cells and so on. If you want to learn how to quickly navigate around these with the shortcuts, you can hold the key Alt, which will display what shortcut key you need to use in order to navigate into any one of them. So if I, for example, click P, I will go into this right here where it will display the new short keys. And if you want to disable this again, you can just click the Alt key one more time. But let's get back to the Home tab right here. So as we see, our data is currently not being displayed properly. We have some values here that is not being displayed. So a quick way to fix this problem and extend the width of our cell is to double click on this cell right here. So as you see. So what we have in an Excel sheet is rows. So the rows is the one going horizontal and the columns is the one going vertical. So with that in place, it's time for us to format this text a bit further, because as you see, there is some of the numbers and some of the text right here that is being hidden because they are have a greater length than this cell block right here. So we can select all this right here and click Format Text, which will take our text and ensure that it can all be displayed within a single text block, cell block. Next off, we are going to tell Excel that this is actually currency values and not text. So we can select these right here and click this button here and then select the currency of the values. So this is US dollar, so we'll just click this one right here. Now the spreadsheet is told that this is no longer text but an actual currency value, which will become useful later on. So now we want to make this into an actual table so that we can make sorting of the data. Excel makes this very easy for us. We can click this format as a table right here and then just select the design we want. Here it has a deselected area, which is the one we selected right here. Then we have clicked this table contains headlines. So if we have selected our headlines, we need to click this in order for Excel to tell that this is actually not data that is to be part of the table. So we click OK right here. And now you see that there is some buttons on this. This now allows us to, for example, sort between highest and lowest value, and we can do this for any of these columns right here, but let's just stick with the date so that we have them sorted in descending order. But let's say we also want a title displaying what this table is actually all about. So we can right click on this row right here and click Insert. In top here we can say Tesla stock data. And now this has been placed in the first cell block, but we can select this right here and click merge and center. So by doing this, all these cells right here will be merged to one single entity that has this text in the middle. And then we can take this layout right here and select any of these headlines format type that we want. We'll just take let's just take this title one right here. So this is very similar to Word if you have been working with that. We can also make colors to these columns right here. So for example, this one, we would like to color this So we can say, for example, the color right here, so that we have this state color. This will be useful later on when we start to look at how to display this data in a nicely manner. So before we move on, we'll just change the format of this. So we'll click normal to get it to avoid them having the same size as the headlines right here. And then we can change the size of this by either doing it manually or clicking these buttons right here. And this is actually the same for this one if we want to adjust these. And I'll just zoom back in again such that it is easier to view. Next up, we want to make it easy to identify on which days were a low trading volume days. So we can select the volume day right here, select the values, go under conditional formatting, and then we can choose any of these pre-made color schemes right here, where you see at based on how high the amount of volume was, the greener the color gets, and then you can pick any of these based on your choice. But we will stick with this one as this is not as aggressive as the one with red. So we will just stick with this one right here. And as you see, the higher the value, the greener the value gets, whereas the lowest day will have the most yellowish color. And this will make it easy with when you have a larger table to get a quick overview just by looking at the table on which day, for example, we had a high volume trading. And you can of course still sort these as you want, but normally we will have these sorted by the days right here, so that the newest is in the top row, but this color scheme right here will allow us to quickly get an idea of the volume being traded. And if you're not satisfied with the pre-made color schemes or just want some other rules that make additional formatting, you can click on the formatting right here and on the new rule, and then you can, based on different terms, define rules on your own. For example, here you can say that a cell value is between, equals, or higher than, and less than, and then just add your own formatting right here based on this. So this is a way that you can define the rules on your own, but we'll just stick with this one for now. So let's say that we want to add a chart that also displays the amount of stocks being traded on a given day, so the volume right here. We can do so by just clicking on any of these volume cell in this column, go under insert, and then under recommended charts right here, and Excel would actually provide us with some recommended charts that we could use. And if you want additional charts, you can click on all diagrams right here and then see what else is available. But we'll just stick with this that already has this nice format right here. So we will have our table here, zoom out a bit, and the nice thing about this is that this is adjustable. So if I, for example, change this line to a lower value, you see both the color rule and the value in the table is actually getting updated. So if I revert this, the change happens again. Now that we have seen some of this formatting stuff, it's important to also mention that one of the key functionalities about Excel is the fact that we can do equations and calculations very quickly. So when wanting to add an equation, you can use the equal sign, and for example you can say 2 plus 10 plus 2, and then Excel will quickly calculate that value for you. So this is a way that you can do calculations easily. And if we, for example, has 2 rows right here, and we'll just say like this, then you can do a calculation once by saying clicking on a cell equals on this cell right here, and then a plus sign on the cell that you want to add on top of this. When you click enter, Excel will calculate that value, but instead of you having to do this for an entire area, you can just select that cell that is already consisting of that equation, and then just select it and put it down right here. And then if you click on, for example, the last one right here and click on this line here, you will see that Excel automatically identified that it has to add these two cells together based on the first rule. So this is a way that you can do calculations and equations in Excel. These are just the basics, but there are also some auto-generated functions that you can use. So let's just move this right down here. So let's say we want to calculate the average amount of stocks that we traded. So we can go over to this auto sum right here, which if we click this, it will automatically sum up all the values here, but we just want the average, so we can click on this and then click average right here. And by doing so, it added a new row to our table, and it says that the average volume of traded stocks is 41 million. And this has a slight of a wrong format because the 0 is missing, and it is now saying that it's just 41,000. But the idea here is that it automatically identified that it should use the values from this column in the table. And the new row that has been added right here is not actually part of this filter table, so I can still filter on any of the values that we want without this value being put in this filter. So if we sort based on a new rule, it will always stick to the bottom of the table, which is very nice, such that you don't get this value mixed in between your real data.